In this session, we'll learn about text alignment options, which are an essential skill for PowerPoint users, especially in industries like consulting or finance, investment banking. While some slides, they may rely on the graphics alone, most of the slides are going to be covered in text. These slides with heavy text, it's not always visually appealing, but they're common because in those industries, PowerPoint presentations, they act as a final report. That's why understanding text alignment and settings like line spacing or margins, these kind of settings are going to be very important as detail-oriented people like your future bosses or your clients. They're going to notice your mistakes right away. And regardless of that, it feels good to create a PowerPoint slide that's well formatted. So let's dive into the details and learn step by step. So we're going to convert the text on the left to the formatted version on the right. We have Mariah Carey's famous Christmas song. We're going to format the text on the left to match exactly to the right. First of all, let's do the alignments. So you can see that the text on the left is currently center aligned, while the text on the right is aligned to the left. So let's select the text box on the left. You have two choices. You can select the text box as a solid line, or if you prefer to select the actual text itself, you can press Ctrl A to select the entire text. And in order to align these texts to the left, the shortcut is Alt-H AL for align left. So it's exactly the same with Microsoft Excel. So Alt-H AL to align left, Alt-H AC to align to the center, AR to align to the right. Exactly the same as Word or Microsoft Excel. So we're going to keep the alignment to the left. And another thing that you can notice is that the vertical alignment as well. You can see that in this case it's aligned to the middle, but the text on the left hand side, it seems to be aligned to the top. So we're going to change the vertical alignment as well. This time it's slightly different to Excel. You must press Alt-H AT, so align text AT, and then you're going to choose between top, middle, or bottom. So TMB for top, middle, and bottom. So in this case, let's press M. So the shortcut was Alt-H AT and then M to align to the middle. So now we have the alignment settings completed. And next, it looks like the font style and the text color on the right differ slightly from the left. Let's adjust those two aspects. Let's select the text box again on the left. First, let's set the font size to 12. So on the right, you can see that the font size is 12. So let's first adjust the font size. Alt-H FS for font size. You want to change it to 12, so you select 12 and press enter. And next is a font style. On the right, we used a special font called Comic Sans MS. So again on the left, Alt-H FF for format font. Alt-H FF Comic Sans MS. Enter. Lastly, the font color as well. Alt-H FC for font color and we want to select a dark navy color. And now the text on the left, now it quite matches the format on the right. But moving on, we're noticing that the text on the right, it does include some bullet points. So the shortcut for it is going to be Alt-H U, and I think U stands for the second syllable on bullet. So Alt-H U, and we're going to select the square-shaped bullet. As I think larger circles or other designs, well, they do. There are these options, but in most of the times I think they look outdated or less refined. So usually the option is to select the square bullets. So let's select this and press enter. And just one slight tip is that you can always enter the more options, and you can customize your bullets. Although I rarely do use other styles, but if you have a preferred style that you want as your bullet, you can always choose from these options. And one thing more, we also want to change the color of the bullets. It's not really recognizable for now, but technically I think the bullet on the right is colored in dark navy. So let's change the colors as well to dark navy. Press OK, and we're going to get a dark navy bullet point, which is very similar to the one on the right. So I think with that, the bullet point settings are also complete. Next, I think the thing that I'm about to share is one of the most important, but I think it's yet most overlooked functions in PowerPoint. The current issue is that the line spacing between rows and the spacing between the paragraphs are not inconsistent. So the line spacings, and you can see that between the bullet points and the actual text, these spaces are different. So that's what we're going to change right now. Let's press this time. Let's start from the right. So let's press Alt H. This time it's going to be K L. So that by pressing that, you can enter the line spacing options, and you can see that the indentations are all set to 0.31 inches, and the line spacing is at single. And you can also see that the paragraph spacing, so after each paragraph there's a 9-point spacing. So let's memorize these settings. Let's keep these in mind. Let's again move to the left, Alt H K L, and we're going to set the exact same settings that we've seen on the right. So for indentation, it's going to be 0.31, tab 0.31. For the paragraph spacing, it was 9 points. And the line spacing itself of individual lines was set to single. I'm going to press OK. And we can see that we do have some lines to clear up in between. So let's just simply use our backspace to clear up some of the blank lines. And now, it's getting much more similar to the one on the right. But still, despite all the adjustments, it still looks quite different. Let's investigate the potential causes. So I think the first possible issue is that the sizes of the two text boxes may be different. So what we're going to do is we're going to right click the text box and we're going to go into size and position. That way you can see that, just one second, you can see that your height is set to 5.27, your width is at 5.76. Of course you can, because this is very inconvenient, what I did is I did also set a quick access toolbar for size and position. So for me, the shortcut is going to be Alt 1. But anyways, height at 5.27, width at 5.76. Let's do the same thing to the left. And you can see that the height and width of the text box is completely the same. So I think there's no issue here. But the second possibility is that the internal padding inside the boxes could be inconsistent. So to check again, we want to go into size and position, and we're going to go into text options and select the text box option. And you can see the margins, how the margins are set up. 0.4, 0.4, 0.05, 0.05 on the top and on the bottom. Again, on the left, we can see that the margins are slightly different. So it's 0.1 and 0.1. We're going to fix this to 0.4 and 0.4. And the top and the bottom, it's going to remain the same. Now we can see that, the left and the right, finally, it looks identical. It seems nearly perfect. So lastly, let's change the fill color of this object. Alt-H-SF, and change the fill color exactly the same to the right. And once you do that, well, we're noticing that there's a shadow applied on the right. So again, Alt-H-SE for shape effects, and we're going to choose the shadow options just as we did in our prior session. And now I think it finally does look exactly identical. It was a lot of work, but and I do admit that it's been a bit overwhelming, but I think we've finally achieved a perfectly identical text box on both sides. So to summarize everything that we've learned so far, first we learned about horizontal alignment, including align left, center, align right, as well as accessing the align text box and aligning to the top, middle, and bottom short keys. Next, we learned how to create bullet points using Alt-H-U and how to change the shapes of the bullets and the colors of the bullets, so the bullet formats as well. We've explored Alt-H-KL for line spacing options and indentation options. And lastly, we've learned to use the size and position options to check the size of the text box as well as the internal margin setups of your text boxes. So I think this session may have been the most content-packed so far, but these shortcuts will be incredibly useful going forward. So I hope that you'll use them to create a very well formatted, beautiful slides.